Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm making a Nigerian meat pie. I felt like eating it today, so I'm showing you how I make it. In my bowl I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, to which I will be adding half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of sugar. Into my flour it goes, and I'm using for my fats a 1/4 cup of shortening. I don't use regular shortening, so I found this palm and coconut mix, so I'm going to try that out today. I also have 1 stick of butter, which is a 1/2 cup, so that's 3/4 cups of fat. I'm going to be using cold water that I got out of my fridge, and I will tell you how much I end up using. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and mix my baking powder, salt, and sugar into my flour, and then I added my butter, which I cut into pieces, and then I scooped out my shortening, and I'm going to use my pastry blender to mix that to a crumble. I want it to look like breadcrumbs, so there you have it. I'm going to then take my water and add that into the mix. I will slowly add my water and mix it so that my dough doesn't get too soft, and I don't want it too hard, so I have to be sure to add enough water. So I'm just going to work that in, and I will show you what the dough looks like. I used about 3/4 cups of the cold water, and now I have the perfect consistency for my dough. You don't want to overwork your dough, so don't knead it too much. Once you get the texture, just give it a few kneads, and as you can see, it's not too elastic and not too crumbly, so I'm going to let this rest. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it in plastic wrap, and I'm going to put it in the fridge and make my filling. So for my filling, I'm using 2 carrots, 2 potatoes, 1 onion, and for my seasonings, I have 1 teaspoon each of seasonal, thyme, curry powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon each of red pepper, black pepper, and garlic powder. I also have a pound of ground beef over there. I'm using an egg wash to seal my pies. I have 1 egg that I've beaten with 2 tablespoons of water. And then I have, to help thicken my filling, I'm going to be using this mixture of 2 tablespoons of flour and about 2.5 tablespoons of water, and I mixed that together, got rid of all the lumps, and that's the consistency that you're looking for. I have a 1/4 cup of oil. I'm going to chop my vegetables, and let's go over and start. So I've heated my oil. I'm adding my chopped onions. I'm going to cook those for about 2 to 3 minutes. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Click that bell so that you get notifications when I upload, which is usually on Fridays. I'm going to cook these onions, like I said, for about 2.5 minutes. And voila, I'm going to go ahead and grab my ground beef. You can use whatever ground meat you feel like. I usually use ground turkey, but I'm using ground beef today. I'm going to try to break that up nicely. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my seasonings. I'm only going to be using about 2/3 of this. I'm going to save the rest for something else. So I'm just going to give this a really good mix. If you're not subscribed yet, feel free to hit that button, join the family. So I'm going to mix this really nicely, and I'm going to let it cook for another 2 or so minutes. And I have taken out about 1/3 of it. I'm going to go ahead now and add my carrots and my potatoes. Don't forget to comment down below if you have questions or if you want to see any recipes that I haven't posted yet. I'm going to mix this in nicely with the meat. I'm going to add 2 cups of water. And then I'm going to go ahead and cover this and let it steam just till the vegetables are cooked. This is about 15 minutes later. I'm going to use a knife to cut through this so you can see it is nice and done. And we are pretty much done here. You can see I don't have much liquid left in my pan, so I'm not going to be using all of my flour mix. I'll just mix that together, and then I'm going to pour about half of it into my pan and mix that into my filling. And then I'm going to turn off the heat and just set this aside to cool while I go over and start making our pies. So I've rolled out a piece of dough. You don't want to work with too much dough at once. My pot lid there is about 6 inches in diameter. I'm going to use that to cut out circles. I do have this empanada press, not press. It's a pie maker, but I don't like it. I rather just use my pot lid. I feel like that circle was a little too thick, so I rolled it out a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my filling, and I'm going to put that on my circle a little close to the edge, not too close because you don't want your filling exploding out of your sealed pie. So I'm going to use my egg wash just right around the edges of my circle there to help seal my pie. I'm going to lift the one end and connect it with the other. And I'm going to use a fork to crimp those edges nicely. Yep, just like that. And then I'm going to poke some holes. You can do 2 or 3 rows just to let out the air while baking these. And then I'm going to get my egg wash and I'm going to spread that over my pie, which will give it a nice sheen after it's done baking. And I've made all of my pies, guys. As you can see, we have the cool kids and we have the misfits. I didn't really care today whether these were pretty or not. So anyway, these are going in my 325-degree oven for 35 minutes. And voila, delicious meat pies are ready. I cut one open for you to see. The crust came out perfectly. And I hope you try this. Let me know what you think. Again, let me know if you have questions. I'll see you